Hi, Henk Akkermans, Supply Network Dynamics, Chapter 10, clip number 6, I think, or 7. Chaotic behavior. So I've now moved to a number of graphs where we can compare behavior over time. And if we start with the one that we left off with, say 20% demand increase in the final market. So the customers of B order 20% more, then this is what happened to the level of trust of B in the supplier. This is what happened to the level of trust of the supplier in the customer. This is what happened to the forecast that was communicated to A by the customer. This is what actually already happens to the with the supplier. Sorry, I meant the forecast that was communicated to the supplier up here by the customer. And here you already see some pretty wild fluctuations in the actual production starts. Now, what is interesting about this model is that so far it all makes sense, but if you move to a certain level, you get behavior all over the place. If I systematically increase this with 2%, then here already I see that the supplier just with 2% lower has a much 2% more demand increase. The customer has a lot more distrust in the supplier. 2% more. And interestingly, sooner recovery. There is some logic there, of course, because if you're disappointed sooner, you may get less disappointed later. Let me just not philosophize here, but continue my experiments. 26%. Still recovery towards the end. How about 28%? It's all over the place, isn't it? What you do see is a greater initial dip. What happens then later on? This one, for instance, after 28% has a very quick recovery of the trust of the customer and the supplier. You see also here that's relatively better. So really a big disruption is actually leading to less problems than, and here you're already over the scale. Difficult to see here stuff. And again, lots of fluctuations. So the main point here is that somewhere between the 20 and 30% demand increase region, demand gets really chaotic. You can't really tell what's happening. If I make this now 30%, will it get better? Will it get worse? I don't know. You really don't know. So very small changes in behavior you see now at 30% actually gets really low here. Whereas for 28 it was better, at 26 it was worse. So there's really no telling here what can happen. That's chaotic behavior. So we move from orderly behavior with 20% to chaotic behavior. And of course, if you make this a really big one, sorry, that's over the top. That was 30%, but 50% does make a point, doesn't it? So there you go, with 30% only shows how much, how little we actually know. So this is then again a bit better. Chaotic behavior. There you go.